So this so-called random act of violence comes out of Colorado Springs. You've got this lady right here. This lady right here apparently was from Dayton, Ohio. She's from Dayton, Ohio. 32-year-old Abigail Miller. Abigail Miller. So R.I.P. to Abigail Miller. She's from Dayton, Ohio. What's she doing in Colorado Springs? And then they say it's a random act of violence, as if that's like makes it better. Perhaps it was with the person that she came with. Perhaps it was just some criminal piece of shit running around Colorado Springs doing whatever the hell they want to do. So some details from KKTV. Lindsay and Tony Keith wrote this. Woman found dead in a city park over the weekend was a homicide victim. Police confirmed on Wednesday. Play the video at the top to hear what a friend of the victim had to say. Police tell 11 News a passerby heard gunshots near Rampart Park just after 10:30, May 14th, and called police. So this is 16 days ago, over 2 weeks ago. Officers responded, found a woman's body near the baseball field. She had been shot. The park is located next to Rampart High School in the northeast part of the city. Detectives with the Colorado Springs Police Department Homicide Assault Unit are now investigating what led up to the shooting and identify any suspects. The victim was identified as 32-year-old Abigail Miller of Dayton, Ohio. Police added that this is a random act of violence. As of Wednesday evening, a suspect has not been identified. There's no known immediate or specific danger to the community. What? It was just her. What she had she had $50 on her. Some goddamn thieving ass piece of shit. There's a bunch of criminal motherfuckers in Costilla County. I don't know if they have anything to do with it, but those would be my first. So it says fundraiser for Abigail Miller by Jess Gibson. She seems interesting. She seems like an interesting character. I mean, she got some work gloves on here and got a lollipop. So I couldn't possibly. I don't think it. What you know, it's bullshit. Foul play. What the fuck? We need to go after. Somebody killed her. Somebody killed Abigail Miller. And I don't think we found anything so far. Let's take a look, see if that was a fundraiser. Was there a some kind of description under the fundraiser? The world is deprived. The parents of a Dayton woman who was killed earlier this week in Colorado are sharing their daughter's story and they're searching for answers. Okay. So that might be a good article. WDTN 2 News. So I always appreciated her sense of humor. Always did. I was always pleased that she had that sense of humor. Clever, witty, talented, hardworking are just a few of the words Jonathan Miller used to describe his 32-year-old daughter, Abigail Miller. She went through a lot of adversity in her life, but she was always tough. She always persevered. But also, interestingly, she always had an innocence and sweetness about her. Yeah, I could tell. It's true. Jonathan and Sherry Miller adopted Abigail in 1990. As soon as they met her, she instantly became theirs. When we got her, she wasn't very heavy. She was light, but I knew when I saw her that was my girl. Jonathan said when she came to us, it was such a joyous time in all of our family. 1990. So at birth, they adopted her at birth. That's when he received a call from the police that he and his wife will never forget. For me, it's in the fits and starts. Sherry is devastated. Abigail was found dead in a Colorado Springs park from a gunshot wound around 10:30 p.m. on Saturday, May 14th. Police currently have no suspects. I assure you, it didn't seem random to Sherry and I. It seemed pretty darn specific. Yeah, it is pretty darn specific. Jonathan said Abigail will always be remembered by her willingness to help others. She touched the lives of countless friends and strangers. The world is deprived, Jonathan said. Somebody prematurely ended her life, and we certainly will live with that, we'll take a little bite of that every day for the rest of our lives. There's a hole in our lives. There's a hole in so many lives. Ours, her sisters. We're going to always miss her, Sherry said. Now, Abigail's parents want the police in Colorado Springs to find out who killed their daughter to bring some justice to her death. It won't bring Abby back, but it would bring some level of closure. It kind of would keep Abby alive because you're trying to get some justice for Abigail. You loved Abigail? Then why don't you, the person that murdered her, why don't you throw him in jail? Throw him in jail if you loved her, if you cared about her. Yeah, maybe we'll never figure it out, but goddamn, in the middle of goddamn Colorado Springs, nobody saw nothing, nobody knows or saw nothing. Could have been a guy that she came with, too. I mean, it could have been just some random fucking meth head, right? Just some random fucking meth head, but maybe it's somebody she came with, maybe it's somebody she was meeting up with. What about her phone? What about the communications in her phone? Here's an interesting 2014. It's probably about her. Dayton woman offers beer smokes for finding lost dog. So her dog was lost and she was saying, hey, if you want some... Oh. An Ohio woman made flyers offering a case of beer and a pack of cigarettes as a reward for finding her lost dog, and it worked. 23-year-old Abigail Miller of Dayton offered the unusual reward for her 2 dogs. After her 2 dogs escaped through an open gate January 2nd, she found one of them at a local animal shelter a few days later, but the other, a husky named Zorro, remained missing. The Dayton Daily News reports that Miller came up with the reward because she could afford it and figured it would attract attention. She was right. The man who called and told Miller where to find her dog turned down the reward, but she says she's going to offer him some food from the sandwich shop where she works. So, God. I mean, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So it does... I mean, it's just like Elijah McClain or, so many other. That Kanajai. So many incredible people with, unlimited potential, and somebody just comes, out of the blue, out of the bushes and snuffs them out, and that's it. So, random act of violence, I think that they should, ask a couple more questions. She doesn't seem sinister or awful to me. I'm sure we all got our, terrible moments or whatever, but foul play, bullshit, who the fuck did it? Goddamn, crack down on the case. Figure out whatever you could figure out. Where was it at? What angle? Did you canvass the neighborhood? Did you ask everybody in the apartment buildings what they heard, what they saw? Shit, man. So, R.I.P. Abigail Miller. R.I.P.